I guess what I'm saying to you who are in this struggle is not new. You may be new, the struggle is not. I remember after I left jail the first time, and I was so excited I was going to drop out of school. There were several class members did to do this full time, march, protest, and go to jail. And Dr. Sam Proctor suggested, first of all, Mike, who y'all love so much, Mike, he's talking about Dr. King, he has a PhD. He's laid the groundwork in history and philosophy. He knows where this thing is going. And so you stay in school so you can be a long distance runner, not just an episodic runner. And so this thing does have continuity. Now, as I think about we who are occupying today, in 1964, the Democratic Convention had an all-white Mississippi delegation. The big protest at that time was to get the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party a seat at the convention in Atlantic City. After all the protests took place, they got 2 seats for the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, so it would be all white, and wouldn't let Franklin Little Hammer have one of them. But we won that battle to open up the process. By 7-2 with the Gordon McGovern, we unseated the delegation in Chicago and Miami because we were fighting for proportionality. We kept on moving. By 1968, should I say 68, it blew up in our face because at a meeting like this, and people say that they told blacks, don't vote. They had big don't vote campaigns arguing. Nixon and Humphrey, both racist, don't vote for racists. That was the angle used at our youth in the campaign. They told young whites, don't vote for Humphrey or Nixon because Humphrey, he's a little better than Nixon. He left Johnson too slow to be the anti-war. So he cut the edge off of the progressive whites, arguing that that Humphrey moved too slow, and told blacks there's no difference between Humphrey and Nixon. When all that confusion ended, Nixon won by 500,000 votes. That's deep in my mind how they schemed on both of us. You know, it's a different rationale to figure out a way to lose, and we lost. In 72, I said we unseated daily because under McGovern we began to change the rules to make the delegations more multicultural. We kept going. By 84, when we first ran here in Iowa, it was when that winner-take-all thing. I get 49.9, you get 50.1, you get 100. On that theme of winner-take-all, Hillary Clinton won California, Texas, Ohio, and Pennsylvania barely. On the winner-take-all, she'd have been the winner. But under proportionality, we would democratize democracy, he was able to win. When London Grenier raised this proportionality back in 92 under Clinton, she got run out of Washington on that idea. Now, we fighting for proportionality, Shiite, Sunnis, and Kurds in Iraq, but not in America. I mean, this thing gets complex, you see. And so here we are today with some big choices to make. Don't give up what you believe in, but don't believe in it so strongly you think you can do it by yourself. We cannot. Going by ourselves is not an option. There are a bunch of options, so there are many options. Repeat, there are many options. Going it alone is not one of them. You cannot get so angry until we leave the family to achieve our collective interests. And so my point is, as we look at where we're going, there are some issues that, as I said, may or may not involve you voting for whomever you want to vote for. But now look at the student loan debt crisis. We need to have some massive campus rallies on student loan debt forgiveness. Just stay right there. Others, because they're cutting on Medicare and Medicaid. We may need to go to some hospitals where people cannot get care because they're on Medicaid and won't treat Medicaid patients. Occupy that. It may be going down to a bank that engaged in the subprime lending, predatory lending scheme and take folks' house. Reverend, there may be 4 members of your church who are about to put out, and church don't let them take them. I mean, there are many ways, there's so much room to fight the issues, we need not fight each other. There's more cotton to be picked than we got cotton pickers. So there's more cotton to be picked. We got cotton pickers. There are more fights to be fought Then we got fighters. So we got room for each other. Now we can learn from each other certain ways on how to organize to get to our purpose. But this room here today explains why it may be more convenient not to have these black preachers get up here and get the preaching on you. But except they got people. You got the idea they got people. So we need each other. All these talents must somehow find common ground for us to win. We all want to end corporate greed. We all want to end corporations as a person to vote. We all want to end voter suppression. We all want to end student loan exploitation. We all want to end unnecessary, expensive wars. We all want to wipe out malnutrition without wiping out the malnourished. We all want women's right to self-determination. We all want racial justice and gender equality. Now, y'all, that's a lot to agree on. If we stay pretty close to that, we're going to change the body politic, because politicians have an amazing way of getting from the lines, and that's what I was saying all the while. If enough of us are moving down the road, you look up and find some, want you care? People say, that's what I was trying to say all the time. And so if we have the right idea, Dr. King and Rosa Parks, that was two, plus MIA, and they kept getting bigger. They got too big to dismiss. And so now we have a movement called Occupy. An idea called Occupy. And let's make it so big it can't be ignored. Friends, I'm glad to have been home with you today. I look forward to keep occupying. And at some point in time, we're going to occupy streets, jail cells, and we're going to occupy voter booths. We also plan to occupy, we also plan to send Gingrich back home on the midnight train to Georgia. We will not allow the 10th Amendment to undermine a half-century work. We have fought too long and too hard to misread what the stakes are. And so, friends, make your choice. I made mine, but my choice is my choice. But whatever we can do, we'll say we're closer to each other than we are far apart. No matter what angle we see. We support the occupation movement. It is a source of conscience. It is the canary in the mind. And young America must not cease fighting and must not let Occupy go away until there's economic justice. Thank you, friends.